So welcome everybody. My name is Sergi Bermudez. I'm here as the president of the International Society for Virtual Rehabilitation. And today we're going to have, as Tamar said, two different types of content. First is the annual general meeting. We as a society have an annual general meeting that usually is co-located with our conferences. And as we all know, for the pandemic, these conferences are not taking place. So we have to become creative and find alternative means for meeting our community and try to provide a report of the activities and also input from them. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. So most of you may know it, but we may have people that are new to ISVR. So what is the society? So the society is a forum that tries to foster multidisciplinary research where we bring together engineers, scientists, clinicians that basically want to use new technologies for physical, psychological, cognitive, and social rehabilitation. And basically, we try to encourage all type of activities that go around this in research, education. We try to foster collaborations, and we basically we want to be the means that make these things happen. We have a webpage, isvr.org. We recently have updated it just during the last ISVR that took place in Israel. So if you want to know more about who we are on our details, you can check our website. About who is part of this society? We have a number of officers, and here I'm gonna introduce some of the officers. These are the executive officers. I'm the president. Philippe Archambault is the vice president. Mindy Lavin, outgoing president. Greg Bermudez is the CEO. Jeff Wright is the treasurer, and Daniel Levac is the secretary. And we have two appointed representatives of our community for the early career and the students. That's Simon Herman and Marika Demers. They basically are sitting on our board, providing input. And then we have elected elected board members like Amir, Anouk, Evelyn, Muhammad, Tamar, Rachel, Roberto, Sandeep, and Wendy. And most of them are also sitting here. And you will see that they all contribute to different aspects of the society. They may be able to help in some of the answers or questions that you may have. So why would you like to be a member of ISVR? Well, the first reason is networking. Obviously, we provide the means for networking with a community of researchers, stakeholders, and companies in this field of virtual rehabilitation and telerehabilitation. So as such, what we do is we organize conferences, workshops, organize special issues in journals, and you can get involved with the society, and you will see we have a number of committees, and you get to interact a lot with other peers. We are very active in the social networks. We have a Facebook group with over 1,000 members, Facebook page, Twitter, etc. We produce a newsletter that you will see later, 3 to 4 times a year. That's accessed about 600 times, each newsletter. And our webpage has around 700 monthly visits. Through us, you can get increased visibility, and you can act and be an actor influencing how this dynamic growing field evolves. More on the practical side, you actually get discount in conferences that we organize, okay? So that's a good reason also why to be a member of the society. And something that we started more recently, well, we always had awards, but more recently in the last few years, we started instaurating awards such as the Early Career Investigator Award, trying to acknowledge contributions in the field. And this is what we are gonna be listening to today, our early career investigator presenting her work. So we try to promote the work of the community, and these are some of the instruments we have. So we're divided in multiple committees, and we do a lot of work, but we need a lot of help as well. So we have awards, membership, elections, but just communications and outreach, you see, there are many things to be done. The website, partnerships with other societies, conferences, social media, the newsletter. There's a lot of work to produce this newsletter. And delivering and finding content that actually is meaningful for you, the community of ISVR. So here you see in red, we would be happy to hear from volunteers if you want to jump in any of these committees to further help us. Okay. We have partnerships. One of the partnerships is with International Industry Society in Advanced Rehabilitation Technology, ISART. We also have a partnership with the Federative Research Institute on Disability, and probably the one that you may know more is the International Consortium on Rehabilitation Technologies. That's actually the one that organizes the Rehab Week, in which we have participated several times. We have two conferences. The first one is the International Conference on Virtual Rehabilitation, which is the official conference of the society. As in many other societies, I can imagine, the pandemic has changed quite a bit our plans. So ICVR was supposed to happen in conjunction together with the Rehab Week with other societies in Rotterdam in 2021. But this has been postponed now in 2022. It's still going to happen. We're still going to participate through the Rehab Week. But the Rehab Week now is adopting a more flexible, let's say, organization, such that it enables virtual and physical participation, okay, already in preparation for what the situation may be in the near future. That means that basically we were supposed to have an event in 2021 that we are not having. So the board is working hardly to find means to have the community meet, to keep on working and keep on networking. So we are preparing virtual meetings, okay, and the possibility of an ICVR in 2021 that's a virtual conference. Jeff Wright, as the general chair of ICVR, will be talking about this and trying to gather your input, okay, at the end of this whole meeting. And you will be circulated some online survey to try to get what do you think, in which conditions you think this meeting may happen. We have a sponsored conference, which is the International Conference on Serious on Disability, Virtual Reality, and Associated Technologies, known as ICDV-RAT. And this was supposed to happen in Portugal also this summer. Again, this is not the case. It has been postponed for a year. It's going to happen next summer in September. Sebastian Koenig here is one of the organizers. So if we have any question about this, he can jump in and he can fill in. But basically the idea is still to have it physical. This is why we moved it for 1 year. And we're just waiting and hoping that it will be possible. And since we have these shifts in schedule, this is why we are having this virtual annual general meeting and presentation of the Early Career Award, because Tal was supposed to present in ICDV-RAT, and this conference is not happening this year, therefore we are organizing this virtual meeting. Still, ICDV-RAT is the right place to go, for sure. Sebastian will agree with me. You have over 1 year to go. So things are going to be settled for sure. Let's be positive. This is SERPA. This is the place in Portugal where this is planned to happen. Is this very beautiful? Okay, that was very positive music and sound. Okay. Thanks. So SERPA is this beautiful medieval town in Portugal where ICDV-RAT is planned following September. Okay, we have an intruder here. So the topics are basically rehab gamification.
I'm getting rid of the intruder right now.
Okay, sure. So the topic is rehab gamification, but it's open to all of these topics that we work at the society, from virtual and enhanced environment, physical rehabilitation, etc. And remember that as a member of ISVR, you get discount participation. So, as a society, we established fees for the members a few years back. Okay, before we were completely free. When we thought we were at a level that we had to instantiate the fees, we decided to do low fees. They are actually quite affordable. It's $50 for a full member for a 2-year period. That's very low for student. It's $25. So our paid membership, let's put it that way, is around 100 people. At the moment, we have few students, about 80 regular members and 5 clinical members. You'll see that these numbers are sort of consistent with the history of the membership we had. Generally, in the events is when we recruit more membership for the society. This year we didn't have an event, so therefore it's a positive thing that we are actually at 100 members without having had a physical meeting that required the renewal of the membership for the discounts. So I want to use this opportunity to ask all current membership, remember to renew. In this situation, especially when we don't know when and where we're going to have these conferences, membership is about the only income that we have, and you'll see it's not very significant. We know that membership has, the renewal process is not easy, so we're working on improving the usability of the website's membership registration and renewal process. We're working on that. We know that some of you may have concerns with that, and we are also working on providing content for the website that actually makes it more appealing to join the society as a member rather than non-member. As I said, 100 members, paid members, in a way, because the community is actually much larger than that. As you can see from our social media, just the Facebook group is over 1,000 members. And what we do there is we promote news, jobs, highlight research articles, and we are looking to increase the type of content that we can offer as a society to fill it, your needs. So for that, we ran a survey last fall, and we had about 115 responses, and of them, only 50% were ISVR members, and only about 50% as well attended ISVR. So we see here that this is the membership, the respondents, and we have about 50% are researchers, whereas the actual membership for researchers, for full members, it's actually about 90%. So we have here clearly a mismatch. We are not reaching everybody, and this is why we use these opportunities to increase our reach, especially clinicians. We have very few clinicians, but they represent the second largest population in our community, and then students. So we worked in this survey to try to find content that would help us attract these members to continue their affiliation with ISVR. And these are the type of contents that were suggested. I don't know whether you agree or not. We can discuss this at the end, but it was basically information on VR development, online tutorials on how to do things, grants, scholarships, community of practice group, job posting interviews, and data biographies, and a wiki. So we're working on implementing some of this throughout this year. Another thing that we are producing at the society is the newsletter. I hope you receive it. The newsletter we consider a very successful effort that we are implementing. It happens 3 to 4 times a year, and here we use it to promote startups. We have a startup profile, a clinical profile, study profile. We feature upcoming events, book reviews, and any news. So we go out to the community and we ask, actually, are you a clinician? Are you using VR? Do you want to describe your work? So we're looking for contributions for you to be featured in these newsletters and for using this as a platform also for disseminating your own work. So if you have work you want to share or you're interested, you can send an email to newsletter@isvr.org, or if you just want to receive it, just go to our webpage and join our mailing list, and then you'll be receiving this every 3-4 months. This is a recent initiative by Dr. Muhammad Amalri, which is the ISVR Journal Clubs. You may have heard of this if you received our communications through the mailing list. It started in June with 22 participants. We had a second, and we're going to have more events. It takes place every third Wednesday of the month. Also in August for Spain and Portugal. We don't close. So the purpose is to create an active education-friendly environment, an established discussion forum for the different disciplines related to what we do at the society, and not only to have technical discussions, but also non-technical discussions around the applications of VR in clinical practice. Okay. We already have two journal clubs scheduled. That's the August and the September one. We're very lucky to have actually Sandeep Subramanian from the University of Texas doing the August issue, and Will Farr from the NHS Foundation Trust in September. So you want to join us or you want to present your own work, please just send an email or just tweet us in our with our hashtag, and then we'll come back to you. I have talked about the awards. The awards are something that we think it's essential to recognize the contribution to those that are making the field progress and advance. And one special one is this ISVR Early Career Investigator Award. We're going to listen to the 2020 awardee, but we're going to have this again next year, of course, and so on and so forth. We are very happy with the adherence this has. This year we have changed actually to not necessarily being member of ISVR, to try to reach outside of the community and acknowledge also work from outside of the community that's relevant to our society. We had 7 very good and solid applications, so we're very happy on the adherence that this award has. And we are going to be announcing by the end of the year the call, okay, for next year. But basically, if you are a junior faculty postdoc up to 8 years after your PhD, you are eligible and you can apply for the Early Career Investigator Award. We need to report on the finances. This is something that's mandatory as per our bylaws. This year, we basically didn't have much of an activity in that sense. You see that our balance right now is about $12,000, and last year, same time, was 11,000. These are not large budgets, and we are using these budgets the smartest way we can to promote the activities of the field. For the expenses we will have, most of them you can see here are dedicated either to maintenance of website, newsletter production, servers, or the awards. And if you look here at the projected revenue, okay, it's not very high, right? We depend very much on our conferences, and this paradigm this year has changed because of the COVID. So it is now that becomes more important that actually our community become member of the society, because we cannot count on the income and let's say revenues that we get from organizing conferences to maintain all of these activities. At the very beginning, you may have seen that in our officers, there were some that were finishing the term, okay? And that means every term we need to run for elections, okay, for those finishing the term. And this is the case for 6 people of the board, okay? So myself, I'm going to be finishing my term as president, Philippe Archambault as vice president, Simon Herman as the early career representative. That means there are going to be vacancies at the society, and also other board members such as Tamar, Roberto, Mindy are finishing the term. So we're going to have a call for elections for this position. So if you're interested, you're going to get involved. Okay, this is an excellent opportunity to have a say in the society and also in how we shape the field. So what are the opportunities that you have as community through ISVR. So as I said, elections, you want to get involved, you can run for any of those positions. Get involved with the journal club, or if you don't want that, just we're going to post them also in our website. You can benefit from having leaders in the field presenting their work. Join any of the committees, for instance, the social media. So many things are happening that we need help just to keep on posting and curating content that's relevant to you guys. And it's going to become now necessary with all of these changes, probably a little bit of help for organizing this 2021 virtual conference that it wasn't planned. And students, I really encourage students to get in contact with Marika or myself, or just tweet us to join the online community of practice. Okay, basically to create a community for the students, okay, to stay connected, share experiences, references, and get these questions out, and probably connect in meetings and conferences. So with this, I finished the update. It has been a little bit rushed, but basically now we have a few minutes open for hearing your input. So we have these positions open, we need volunteers, and we are very happy to hear what you have to say about our work. Thank you very much. If we have any question, I think Mohammed has been looking at the chat.
Yeah, so thank you, Sergi. We don't really have that many questions. I think it was just a comment about the newsletter. So I think the latest newsletter was sent in March 2020. So I think we produce the newsletter every 4 months, quarterly.
Yeah, it's 3 to 4 a year. Yeah, we're going to have one coming out probably before August, because it's already edited and it's basically just waiting to be sent.
So I think maybe we have some time if anybody do we have any time, Tamar, for a couple of questions?
Yes, of course, we have some time. Tal, I'm just going to do the invitations now.
So I have a question. This is Judy Deutsch. I just want to say thanks to all of you for all your hard work. You really moved the society forward. My question is, why are so many officers rotating off at the same time? And is it possible to stagger these rotations so that we don't lose so many people that have been serving together?
Okay, thanks, Judith, for your question. I can try to answer here. Actually, this is better than what it was 3 years ago. I know that still what happened is, since the terms are of 3 years and the society was created at a given point in time, okay, it generally people rotate in sync unless they have resigned for whatever reason before. So something that we did already last year was we opened last year, and if you were in Israel, you have heard the call for nominations. We phased out 1 year some of us, okay, so that we wouldn't have a collision of too many people rotating. This is why this year we have new people at the board. In this case, I think Anouk, Rachel Profit, Sandeep, and Wendy joined the board, okay, trying to have more continuity. But definitely, we understand, Judy. This is something we're trying to work, but it's a little bit difficult with the constraints we have on the terms and mandates.
Thank you.
Any more question? I think maybe we still have some time for a couple of questions. Or any comments as well, so any suggestions. So we are open for all.
This is Jeff Wright. I have a question following up on members or on the board, since Judy had just brought it up. Can you tell the people here how when the elections will occur and how they can get their name on a ballot? I think you did say there's an address the email they can send to, but when will the elections occur?
Okay, just give me a second. I lost my share screen, but never mind. So the call isn't out yet. Mohammed, who is here, is the chair of elections, and he'll be sending the call for nominations. At that moment, you will receive an email through our membership list, and then you can nominate yourself or you can nominate somebody. This will happen in October, okay? The rotation only happens next year, so we are not advancing things yet, but you will receive an email and you can contact Mohammed for that purpose. I'm going to try to find the email in the meantime. No, I don't have an email, but basically you can contact, if you want to know more, Mohammed?
Yes, I think, yes. So the positions I think will open, or the nomination will open, I think at the end of October usually, and stay for 1 month. So we will, if you are not part of our mailing list, so please try to register there. And this time I think I will ensure to post this on our social media. So I think everybody will, it will reach everybody, hopefully.
I have two things. Sebastian Koenig here. The first thing is we have almost 60 people here. Thanks everybody for being here. I actually had no idea whether I was still a member or not. I just checked and my membership expired. So we have 1 new member now. I just renewed. The website works for that. So good job on that.
Yeah, happy to hear that.
If anybody is not sure whether they're still a member or not, just check on the website, or maybe somebody of the current members who have the authority to have the full list of members can check. But it's not a lot of money, and it would really go a long way to supporting the society. That's number one. And number two is, so at the beginning of the discussion before we officially started, I think I heard that there might be an online event planned for next year. But since ICT-VRT also is not happening in person later this year, or actually just in the next couple months, it's not happening, instead postponed to next year, it might be a good idea if anybody who's interested might get together and think about whether we want to do a more or less small online event later in the year as well, so that it's not going to be almost another year until we all see each other again and discuss our work, apart from journal clubs and things like that. So it would actually be nice if we could more regularly do maybe 1 or 2 extra meetings throughout the year in between our annual rotating conferences and so on, just to be more in the loop of what everybody's doing.
Yeah, I agree completely, Sebastian, and I think that Jeff is going to address this issue when he does his presentation towards the end of this meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Tamar, do we still have any more time for any more questions, or we just need to move? We can't hear you, Tamar. I think you are muted.
Yeah, I mean, we should start to think about moving. So if someone does want to raise a question or an issue, we have time, but it's also appropriate to move on. So as whatever there is, if there's any particular issue.
I think Emily was asking for more PR and linking to other conferences. Emily Kirchner.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Hi. Nice to hear you.
Good to see you.
Hi, Emily.
So PR is definitely something we have to work, but this also takes a lot of effort. So we would like to do that, but we need hands also to help us do all of this outreach. Yeah. So.
Well, one of the things I think we can start to look at are members like myself who have rotated off the board but have remained members. And I'm happy to take on tasks, and I would guess we'd find at least a few others who would be as well. No one's reached out to me to ask me to do anything, but I'm always open to suggestions. And one suggestion I made is that there is so much VR work going on now, and people have no idea we exist, that maybe what we need to do is start setting up membership tables and promoting membership at other conferences other than our own.
I think it's an excellent idea. And I don't know if anybody's taking minutes of this meeting, but you should write down Emily for the task. We are.
Marika just volunteered to take notes of comments and suggestions, so it's somebody doing it.
Excellent.
I'm also happy to do that as well. It's Danielle.
Okay. Excellent. So, Emily, I think it's an excellent idea, and we should definitely do that. And we're going to then reach out to you, and probably any members of the society that also want to contribute in any capacity, just let us know, because your help will be very much welcome in any of the aspects that we're working on. Thanks.
This is Jeff, to follow up on that, one of the things that we talked about in the board meeting on Friday was the committee that Mohammed had led and with Evelyn and I for this, a different type of outreach, which is that we would offer sponsorship, meaning we get we'd get our name out there. We pay a small fee to some kind of conference and showing that we're a sponsor, and then that would be another way to get our name. And so we put together I guess it's a plan for that, a written up plan, and we're trying to move that forward in the society right now.
This is Greg. May I suggest something? If you hear me. Do you hear me? Yes. Okay. I just went on the membership page just to check my status, and you can only do it if you log in, obviously. The problem is the login button is all the way at the bottom. So usually on web pages login, it's up. Okay, so I don't know, on the main membership page, the login button is at the bottom. I don't know why. To get you to the member login, I suggest that we move it somewhere more prominent so that it's easier to understand what's supposed to be done. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Greg, for that. I think Amir is in the meeting. He's the responsible for the website. This should be an easy thing to do. So we're going to look into that. Thank you.